Hi everybody, it's Chris. Welcome to my channel, Crafting Chris, a channel where I like to talk about my cross stitching and some of the other crafts that I like to do. I have a few things to talk about that I've been working on and a few exciting things that have been going on in my crafty life that I wanted to share with you today, so let's get started. I want to do a quick update. In my last video I showed you my finish of my oldest whip. It was a project that I had started over 20 years ago for my sister. And I finally completed it when I was at StitchCon this past summer. And in my last video I showed it to you. I had it framed and was ready to gift it to her, and I have given it to her since I last saw you, and she really enjoyed it. So I am thrilled with that. It was a long time completing it. It was a difficult project for me to work on and to continue to work on and push through and finish. And there was times when I was going to give up and literally throw it away, but I persisted, and it ended up turning out way better than I ever thought it would look, and she is thrilled. So that makes me happy that it is now hanging in her home and she's enjoying it. I also have a finish, not an FFO, but a finish since I last spoke to you. I was working on the Lizzie Kate Celebration series. This one is the Valentine's one, and I sort of explained the last time how my poor pattern got stuck to the vinyl in my project bag somehow, and this is the end result, and I'm very sad about that, but at least the pattern part is still usable. So yeah, I had a little bit complete on this, but I finished it up fairly shortly after I talked to you last because it's a pretty quick stitch. So that's the Valentine's one. I also have the Christmas one here. I thought I'd quickly show you because it's in the same bag with that one. So these are really fun little quick stitches, and you're probably familiar with them. There's one for all the different seasons that you can stitch. And I have a really fun idea of how I think I'm going to finish these. So I'm excited to work on the rest of them and get them completed so I can sort of get that finish done and see if what I have in my head is going to actually work in real life. So stay tuned for that. So after I completed that, I spun the wheel. I'd sort of talked about that a little bit in the past. I'm kind of adopting Pam from Just Keep Stitching, her idea of using a decision wheel that I have on my iPad, and I've put all my whips in there. And so each Sunday I spin the wheel and then I work on that project for a week. And so far that's been working kind of good for me. It's fun. It lets me work on different things and remind myself some of the ones I haven't worked on for a while, that how much I really do like them and enjoy them. So the next one that came up on the wheel was from the Snowflower Diaries, the Joyful World Sal. I think the information might be there. Well, it does say the Snowflower Diaries and the Joyful World Sal. And this is the July one that I started in July but have not completed, obviously. But I've done a little bit of work on it. I like saving the center image, so the flamingos are the part I'm looking the most forward to stitching. So I try and make myself do everything else first and save them to the last. So I'm kind of doing everything else around them. And I'm just using the DMC conversions for that. And I'm using some 28 count linen, I believe. It's probably just something I bought at Michael's. I think they call it their Irish linen. It's a 28 count. So that's fun. So I still have quite a few in that series to do, but I'm still enjoying working on them, so that'll be fun. So I did want to show you, this was one of my project bags that I made a while, so I've got that project that I showed you in here. This was a floss organizer that I also had made at the time, using the scrap pieces of vinyl and some of the fabric that kind of matches the inside of the bag. So I was pretty happy at how that worked out, and I really like the idea of having the floss laid out. It's laid out numerically, so it's really easy to quickly find what I need. I like how it looks with the white background and all the different colors on there. The only drawback to this, the way I made it, because I kind of mimicked the project bag itself, is that you're limited. The way the dimensions I've used, I can only get 16 floss bobbins in there. So it limits you if you have a larger project. So I've tried making a double-sided one, so I'll show you one of those. I have one of those in a later project. So after I worked on that, then I spun the wheel again, and it landed on Sarah's Christmas Village. This is a pattern I've had for a while, and so I was really excited to get to work on it. I worked on it during the Christmas in July, and so I got to do a little bit more stitching on it. So in July, I'd done, you know, the sand and those reindeers and the mountain and the start of that red house, I guess it is, house, barn, church, I'm not sure, at the top there. But you can see I've added more trees around that, the start of Mary. And then I've got another little mound of snow with a fun little snowman and a skinny little house there with a fence that I've put in as well. So that's been really fun to work on that. This is also on a, I think this is a 32 count linen, but I forget what color it is or what company it is because I didn't think to keep the tags. So this one I have in this Christmas bag that I made. And so this one has more than 16 floss colors. So I tried making a double-sided floss organizer. So don't look too close because my sewing is pretty rough. I'm still trying to perfect what works and what doesn't work, and I'm not a quilter, so I'm just learning how to do binding around the edges, so I need to try making a few more and find what works and what doesn't work for me. So the next thing that I worked on when I spun the wheel was my birthday start this past July. And again, I apologize, this is not a great picture, but my printer was running out of ink, but it's called Walk with Dog. And it's based on the artwork by this artist here. I got it from Artisy. It's a full coverage piece. And I got a little bit more done from what I had managed to do on that one day back in July. I know it doesn't look like much, but if you do full coverage, you understand how long that takes to put in all that solid stitching. So this is the top corner. So it's this, yeah, it's this top corner up here that I'm doing. And it's just really fun with all the different colors and watching it come to life. So yeah, so that's the one that I'm working on this week. So I'm really enjoying doing that. I haven't done a full coverage for a while, and it was really fun to get back to one because for me, I find it very relaxing because I actually work block by block, as you can probably tell, and I do that staggered. So I mark that off on my pattern, and I literally stitch a row and I park the thread where it is next, and then I stitch a row parking the thread. So I'm literally going like row by row by row. So it doesn't require a lot of counting and choosing what color to use next and where I'm going to work and how far over do I need to go. So I just find that really relaxing. So I'm really enjoying working on that. And this is one of my new bags that I made with the fabric that I purchased from Hobby Lobby when I was down at StitchCon with these fun little dogs. So I thought that would be good for a project called Walk the Dog to use one of my dog bags. So those are all the different things that I have been working on since I talked to you last. And I'm enjoying the spinning the wheel. So thank you, Pam, for introducing me to that idea. And that's what I will continue to do over the next few weeks, is every Sunday I will spin the wheel and work on what comes up next. So I guess the next thing I wanted to talk about was some news. When I first made my project bags, and I had showed some on my video, I did have a couple people ask me if I was selling my bags, which at the time I wasn't, but the thought had crossed my mind, partially because I really enjoyed making them, and one person only needs I think one person only needs so many project bags, because it depends on how many whips you have going. So the time seemed right this summer, so I pulled out my sewing machine and I made a bunch of bags and I opened an Etsy shop. So I will list that down below. The name of my shop is Craft and Chris, like my YouTube name, and then Creations with a K rather than a C, and that's all one word. But again, I'll list it down below if you're interested and you want to go and check out what I have for sale right now. Currently, I just have some bags, some project bags like the ones I just showed you. So I was going to show you a few of my favorite bags, and I've just made a few Halloween ones. I'm going to make some more, but I thought it'd be fun to show you guys what's available, and if anybody has any questions or anything, you can certainly ask me. So this is one of my favorite ones that I like. I really like this farmland scene, the cows and the sheep and the barn and the farmhouse, and I just used this sort of complementary red fabric with that goldish tannish line. To me it kind of looks like a rope. So that's one of the ones that I have for sale. This is some more of the fabric that I purchased from Hobby Lobby along with the dog one that I showed you. I use these little dog buttons because I think they're adorable as a zipper pull. It's kind of I'm using it kind of as my signature for now. But I just love this red fabric that's in here. It's just so beautiful. It's a really deep, rich red color. And it's like mottled. Like it looks like hand-dyed cross-stitch fabric. And then, yeah, just all these wacky circles on the back. And I had more of this red fabric, so I went to my local fabric store and picked out a fabric that coordinated with it. So I love this turquoise. This is actually a Linda Holt fabric. I just thought it was really pretty with that deep red. And then this is a new one that's going to be going up this week in the shop. So it's got these really adorable kitties, and then just this black and white fun fabric. Speaking of kitties, what's up, Zoe? And this is one of my Halloween ones. So just a black and white check and these cute little pumpkins. I believe this fabric is called Cheeky Pumpkins. And these are the same pumpkins with the spider web fabric. Pumpkins. And then this one is just the reverse. So the pumpkins are on the inside and the spider fabric's on the outside. So those last four are some new ones that are going to be going up this week. Excuse me, my cat wants outside. I'm going to put her outside. She'll just keep meowing. Sorry about that. So yeah, so that's what's for sale in my shop right now. I am hoping to get some other items up in there. One project that I've kind of just been working on and doing a bit of trial and error are these fun little, these are called sleeping bag pouches because they're kind of shaped like a sleeping bag. And I thought it would be a great little bag to put like your highlighters and your scissors and that in. I like because when you open them up, it lays flat on your table and you can see everything. You don't really have to go digging for it like you would in a traditional pencil case. And then when you do it up, it's kind of cool because it takes on this shape. So yeah, so I'm hoping to get some of these made and put up in my shop. I had showed you the floss organizer. So again, this is a product that I'm still perfecting. I've sort of sorted out the best way and what fabrics to use to make this part. I just need to work on my binding technique before I feel that they're acceptable to be sold. But this is another double-sided one. So that I'm hoping to, again, I'm not sure when that'll be, but that is certainly one of my plans. The little sleeping bag pouches, I'm hoping to have them up there probably the next month or so is my goal. The other thing I've just started working on, just because I was looking for a way to use up some of my little scraps of fabric. So I've decided I'm going to make some inexpensive covered button needle minders. So they're basically, that's the size they're going to be. I've made some with the little kitties on them. I don't have any magnets on them yet. I have to glue them on, but I wanted to show them on my video, so I thought I would wait because the glue takes about 24 hours to dry. So there's another little kitty from one of those. There's some of the circle fabric. I did a snowflake from one of my fabrics. Just some. This is a red polka dot fabric, so I just got one polka dot. Kind of looks like a weird eyeball, but. And then I have a little sheep from that farm fabric. So those are going to be some simple little inexpensive needle minders that I'm also going to offer for sale as well. So as far as my cross stitching goes, that's kind of what I have to share today. The last thing I often like to do in my videos is to show you some past crafting endeavor that I've done, or some project that I've made in the past, sometimes the recent past, sometimes the very distant past. So the one I was going to share with you today is an item that I had designed for a class. I used to be a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Stampin' Up! Is a company that sells scrapbooking and card making supplies. Their base is rubber stamps, but they sell everything else you can imagine to craft, to do any paper crafting. And I used to be a demonstrator, and I would teach classes from my home on a regular basis. So this was one of the classes that I had set up to teach, and it was featuring one of our stamp sets that allowed you to make different things based on the season. So the class involved using a plate kind of as a frame, and I just ended up using a clear one because I got it from my dollar store and that's what they had. But this would obviously look great with almost any, like a white plate or anything you want to do. So this is a Velcro dot, and then each thing that I designed has the matching Velcro that you stick it on. So this is kind of just a design that you'd put up just for the winter months, and then you just need a plate stand. Again, you can buy at the dollar store, and it stands up like that. And so then you can change it out each season. So I had one for Christmas, and then there's one for Valentine's Day, just a spring one. Here's an Easter one. It's just a generic summer one. And I made the little red bird sort of it was in each one. This was just a birthday one. If somebody was having a birthday that week or whatever, you could change it out. And then just a generic fall one with the leaves done in some fall colors rather than the green. And then in honor of the upcoming season, and I had a Halloween one. So I thought this would be a really fun way to do a cross stitch finish too. I know there's those circular ones that are fairly popular right now that are designed to go on the, I forget what it's called, but on that ceramic dish. That something like that would work really well on this idea, and I know that there are different ones for different seasons. So that's something I might think about doing in the future too. If I decide to do some of those patterns, is I might try finishing that way with using a plate as a frame and the Velcro on the back that you could change them out type of thing. So that's it for me. That's my cross stitching and craft from the past. And until next time, Happy stitching. Bye.